not learn until yesterday that the 3 that's so prominently displayed in the Blackhawks' amazing record this year, and they're just doing a wonderful job. Great team. Best in the NHL, no doubt about that. But I always thought the 3, what is it, 17 and 0 and 3 now? Is that how it is? 17 or 16? I'm not sure.
Yeah, 0 but in 3. And what is the 3?
Well, I always thought the 3 were ties. I learned now that they're actually losses in overtime, which don't count as losses. Let's begin there with Mike North, who joins us this morning. You can read him in the Daily Herald, of course. You can watch his 30 and 5 video commentaries at AM 560 The Answer. And his visit brought to you by the Village of Rosemont and Home Comfort Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. I thought those were ties. They turn out they're losses. How can they still be undefeated?
Well, what it is, it's a shootout, John. And what they end up doing is shootouts, and they have the sudden death overtime. You're right to be confused because for years, I mean, you know, you'd leave the hockey game a 2-2 tie. You'd spend your money. You'd battle your way down to the stadium. You'd get in your seats. You'd spend 2.5, 3 hours with your closest friends and fans, and then you'd walk home with a tie. Now they have the shootout.
I'm way behind the curve. See, I didn't even realize that.
Right. And you know what? I think what happened was people just got tired of going home without a result. I mean, you saw the hubbub that you had in the National Football League when they had the one tie this year in overtime. Mm-hmm. People went nuts. People don't want to go home now, especially with the prices they're charging. Go, how did you like the game? It was great. Who won? Nobody. So they had to do the shootout and stuff like that. But more importantly, it's the 0 that counts in the middle. Mm-hmm. Okay. 17, 0, and 3 is the main thing that counts. I mean, if any other sport, baseball, football, basketball, had a team that was 17, 0, and 3 in any town, it would be nonstop talk. So I decided today to turn on the TV before I came on here, and I'm watching not one word. It's on the crawl. But that tells you how much work hockey still has to do. You have one of the great teams. In fact, the greatest team to start out in hockey history. And everybody's more talking about Derrick Rose. Will he come back? There's spring training. You're talking about Manti Te'o in the combine. Yet the biggest story is unfortunately now happening in a fringe sport. Where, you know, you have the 4-letter network not even covering it, not even having a contract with it. Bowling has a contract, but it's just astounding to me that you have a team that's gone 20 games without a blemish on their record as far as a loss, and there's really, except in Chicago, hardly any pub at all on it.
All right, let's talk about the Bears. Urlacher's legacy, I do believe, should continue here in Chicago. But what about Manti Te'o? Would he be a great backup? Would he be the next Brian Urlacher?
Well, what happened yesterday, Amy, is he ran at the combine, and he ran slow. He ran over a 4.8, which was 20th out of 26 linebackers. Okay, so what he said afterwards is, hey, it depends what I do on the field. But if you're a scout, if you're a GM, you know, maybe you bring him in to back up Urlacher. Here's what I remember about Brian Urlacher. All of a sudden, he's going to be 30 again. I watched him limp around last year, especially late in the season, and maybe people forgot. He was ineffective, and he finally had to leave. He can't finish a season anymore. So while everybody's all excited, I mean, do you start off the Mark Trestman era by bringing out a linebacker that is half of what he used to be? I don't know, especially a middle linebacker. He's popular. There's no doubt they want to sell tickets also, and he's one of the franchise guys, but unfortunately, he's getting long in the tooth.
Well, where would he go if he wasn't a Chicago Bear?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he'd probably go help somebody. Well, does he retire as a Bear? I doubt it. He'd want to go make some more money, help a team, maybe come in. I don't believe he's a viable middle linebacker as a starter anymore, but he'd be a spot guy. I mean, there's no question. His legs, his body is just so been beaten up over the years, and it's a testament to him. I mean, he's had a great career, but sooner or later, you gotta cut bait and maybe go with somebody else.
One question regarding the White Sox here. How come Robin Ventura didn't take that offered-up extension?
Well, how come we're getting rid of a catcher like A.J. Pierzynski? He's one of the biggest winners around. Offer him a one-year deal. I mean, Texas gives him a one-year deal at $7.6 million. Wow. Robin Ventura's got 2 more years in as manager, and all of a sudden you're looking for a 3rd-year extension? Why? They had one of the worst collapses in September. They lost 11 out of their 15 games, and the first thing the White Sox think of is giving the manager an extension and losing a catcher who Nolan Ryan says today is nothing but a winner, and they're pleased to have him behind the plate because not only does he do the big things, he does the little things. And this is a team that went to the World Series saying this about a guy that we got rid of who did nothing but good things for the Chicago White Sox, including a World Championship. This was Rick Hahn's first move, and that's what an inexperienced general manager apparently does, and he did it probably with the blessing of Reinsdorf and Williams, and I find it hard to believe that after they got rid of Pierzynski, they said, let's give Ventura another year. What has
Yeah.
he done to earn another year, 3 more years as the White Sox manager?
Yeah, and had I been him, I probably would have taken it. Well, thank you, Mike.
Yes, you would have. We all would have.
Yeah, that would have taken it. Mike, thank you, sir.
All right, guys, take care.